If this image scares you, then you definitely want to stick around because I'm going to talk about where I think the future of Amazon KDP is headed. So let's first talk about how other big tech companies are handling AI generated materials. So companies like Apple, Spotify, Deezer, Tidal, and so on are now applying AI generated badges to music tracks on their platforms. And we're seeing that listeners generally don't want to listen to AI generated music. Even myself, whenever I'm working out at the gym, and hear a AI generated track come onto my headphones, I skip immediately because it's a very obvious sign. It lacks that emotion and it's just really kind of boring music. Additionally, we're seeing even platforms like Substack starting to apply badges to people's posts. And this one I think is really dicey, but also really applicable to KDP because you see, AI detectors for text aren't that great because AI was trained on text. And being able to suss out fake or synthetic data from real human generated text is extraordinarily hard, and no AI detector can nail it just quite yet. So, applying that into a production environment is really telling because it shows to me that a platform is trying to grapple with that in order to satisfy their users. And just recently, a large language model provider, Claude, is now watermarking text outputs. So, I say all this because it's really important to Amazon KDP because Amazon's, of course, a big tech platform. They want to make sure that their customers are happy and they're always going to try to protect their bottom line. So, where does this bring us with Amazon KDP? Well, since 2023, they have been tracking the use of AI material in books through the use of their AI attestation module. It asks authors whether you have text, images, or translations that have been AI generated. And recently, they had also clarified their AI stance on what the difference is between AI generated and AI assisted outputs. Basically, if the start of the work was human generated, that's AI assisted and doesn't need a disclosure, where a work that was started with AI and then human edited, that's considered AI generated. They've been collecting this information now for years, and if you don't attest to it, and you are found using AI generated information in your books, you could actually be removed from Amazon KDP. That's current policy. Amazon's starting to work in more and more AI disclosures across their platform. We just recently saw that A plus content, thanks to a New York State law, must have a disclosure that it contains AI generated information if there is a real human involved in the image or the appearance of one, even if they're AI generated. Now, this only applies to those in Seller Central and not to Amazon KDP A plus content yet, but I could definitely see that rolling out very, very soon. Additionally, Amazon also has AI translated books, which they have a very prominent badge that says that it has been translated thanks to a machine. The same goes for Amazon Kindle translations, where they have a little popover that explains to users that this has been automatically translated. So, anyhow, they are getting more and more transparent with their disclosures and providing these big boxes for users to see before they make a purchase. So, if you think about this yourself, if you saw a book on Amazon and it had this badge that said contains AI generated information, would you buy it? You have the answer in your head, and that's probably the same answer that readers are going to have whenever shopping for books. So, what do? Well, you have to think about how you generate your materials going forward because you want to future proof your own works. Even though the carrot is enormous on the stick whenever it comes to AI generated material, as the more volume you produce, the higher sales that you get. I would not be surprised in the least if the gauntlet comes down very soon on AI generated content. Now, here's my kind of hypothesis, if you will, on where I think the future of Amazon KDP program is going to go. So I think all books are going to eventually be labeled with an AI generated material based on that attestation screen. I would not be surprised in the least if that rolled out tomorrow. Additionally, Amazon also may have a simple toggle checkbox on whether or not to include AI generated books within the research results. If that was turned off, how would that impact your book sales? So a user could only see books that were humanly written. And if there is not a simple checkbox, there could easily be programmed into Amazon's ranking algorithm a suppression based on the composition of AI material within a book. This could impact both rank and reachability for titles with just a simple update. So these are all kind of questions that you want to consider. And I've said this multiple times and it's worth repeating again is Amazon KDP is an incredibly high risk platform. You are literally beholden to Amazon, not only based on their policies, but on the rank and distribution of your title. You have no recourse. You can't call them up if there's bad prints of your book. You are very limited as a self-published author. So what I always just generally recommend to self-published authors, even if they use AI generated information or not within their materials, is to diversify off of Amazon KDP immediately. There are lots of areas where you can sell your book. Amazon KDP, while large, is not the end all be all whenever it comes to your book. Not to mention, too, the payouts are extraordinarily long. You don't get the reader's email address. There's no way that you can kind of build that brand or reputation with your end reader and letting them know whenever future books might come out within your book series. So I'm curious to know what your thoughts are whenever it comes to AI generated material on KDP. Where do you think Amazon's going to be headed? I mean, I presented all my views in this video, but I'm curious to see other contrarian thoughts to this. I mean, I gotta say that the AI Pandora's box, if you will, is open, and that genie's never going back into the bottle. So we're going to have to live with this one day, and the platforms are going to have to modify their rules and make adjustments accordingly as time goes on. So thanks so much for watching. Here are my thoughts here, and I look forward to talking with you in the comments. Take care.